We did get the assessment report.
Okay, did you get the sales?
Yes.
sheets? Okay,
Yes.
so you looked them over.
I did.
No,
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, well, my name's John Springer. I got Kathy Corey with me. She's the commercial appraiser. But just a brief overview, it won't be 3 minutes, but for this assessment, there was 39 residential sales that were used in the study, which ran from October 1st, 2021 to September of 2022. Resulted in a 93.1% median ratio. So as we'll get into with the value increases this year is very minimal because we were pretty close to where we want it to be. The total value for the district is now $280 million, up about 7% from last year. There was 982,000 in residential new construction. There was one new house, 4 houses from last year that were completed, and there were interior remodels, exterior projects, other work from previous years that were completed. New construction for commercial was 3.1 million. Includes Lewis Industries, the assisted living complex, and the new commercial building additions. To break it up, residential, it was anywhere from 0 to 5% was majority of the properties. Townhomes, twin homes, 0 to 3%. A little bit of ag we have in Paynesville, 10%, and that was pretty much countywide. Green acres values, I believe, 25% or so. 20 to 25%. Commercial values were 5 to 9%, and then apartments and storage units are a pretty strong market, 10 to 12%. And they're all just averages. The majority of the properties fall in those categories, but there might be some outliers. But that is pretty much the summary.
As we start to see property values fall, as interest rates go up and the market stabilizes and finds its new normal, how long do you expect that to start showing in your
So last year with the minimal increases we did, we saw a slowdown for sure. Me personally, I don't expect to see it this year, maybe. There will be separate markets, but the problem is still the supply. So we're still seeing people paying these higher sales prices just because there isn't much out there for inventory. We're starting to see it ramp up a little bit like it always does in summer, but it's tough to say. But if we do start to see our ratios above 100%, we'll follow it and we'll drop values if it needs to.
Foreclosures. I noticed there's a couple in the city pending.
If there are foreclosures, most likely they're going to be unqualified sales, bank sales, anything like that. We'll call on and we'll see if it was actually market value or if they just got a deal because they were foreclosed on.
I'm just kind of following on if people think the sky's falling, the market's going to tank. For example, in 2008, when everything tanked, in the districts I didn't see really a fallout in that until like 2010, 2011. So it will be behind a little bit, so that does happen.
And in dropping markets, because we are a year behind, even if it's all in 1 year, our values will be higher than what they're currently selling for, which is how it goes.
Well, next on our agenda is any public comments or questions. I don't think we had any appointments made. We certainly don't have anyone here this evening to present to us. Did you get any calls or any concerns prior to this meeting today?
So I had one residential call. We were $1,000 above what she paid in end of 2021. So it was resolved. She was just calling mostly because of the tax So that was the only call I received. And yeah, it's been quiet.
Just shout out to John. I think he's the only one in our office that had the least increase here for the city of Painesville, so he's doing an excellent job.
Well, I know we had, was it 2019? We had 5 or 6 and we came back for a second meeting. Maybe it was 2020.
Last year we definitely, with bills.
It was Bill's last year.
Last year.
That was the big one.
Well, no, I'm thinking as far as disputed values, when was that? So, no, you weren't, I'm thinking we just had one where we were like 6 or 7, we had to come in for a second one.
Glad I wasn't here.
A council member's neighbor was,
Oh, yeah.
Overall, it hasn't been a lot.
yeah, it's been pretty quiet the last few years, so.
So that's a good segue into bringing it up again. It's totally up to you guys, but open book is an option.
I'm sorry, open what?
Open book, it gives property owners the ability to dispute their value, not in front of a local board meeting like this. Basically, when they get their value notice, up until 10 days prior to the county board, they can call me. If we come to an agreement, great. If not, and they just go to county board. It eliminates this meeting, but it opens up the time frame of how long they can appeal. Because after this meeting, we'll close it off to new appeals. If they call me tomorrow, they can't go to county board. Their only option would be tax court. So it's beneficial, and both ways have benefits to it. So it's up to you. If you do want more information, I can have Jake send over information. So
You'd still get the summary.
I'll still put together the summary of the sales sheets.
Currently, I think we have like 20 districts that have gone open book, and I think we're going to have for sure 5 that have jumped on
We're
this year.
noticing more, at least townships are interested because they haven't seen people show
That's
up.
only been a couple of years, hasn't it, that we've been doing that open book thing?
No, it's always been an option.
Oh.
But now since I think people are more educated, they can go out and look, that they just don't seem to need to come here, like they get their questions and answers. And we, our county assessor, they do great jobs with, putting information out there as well. I know, like I said, we've had other districts that do it. I know that one of the cities, like I do the city of Freeport, they went open book. No one was coming to those meetings, so if you know anyone, I know out there. Otherwise, I believe Cold Spring, or is it Richmond?
Cold Spring is,
Cold Spring is open book.
Sartell is.
Oh, yes.
If we go open book and 10 years from now Randy retires and we realize the whole department fell apart, we want to take this back, and we do that.
I believe when you go open book, is it 3 years that you're open book, that you're for sure that, but after that you can decide to have a local board again.
And how long is your contract with the county?
My contract?
I'm just making sure you've got at least 3 years.
I do.
Is there any fee for open book?
You can extend
Is
your
there any
retirement.
Yeah.
No.
No.
No, and you would have to take the local board training,
I was gonna
the
s-
publishing.
But it is good to take it still.
But I would alleviate the need for people to be certified.
Yeah.
I think it's something for us to at least consider.
I do.
This is now the 3rd year in a row where we've convened at 6 and sat around on our hands for 30 minutes until we adjourn at 6:30 because no one's here.
We had Bill last year.
Well, you're right, we did have the one last year.
Bill last
Yeah,
year.
you're right.
So in the past, the council has discussed it.
Yes.
One of the opposite of what they're saying is they want to keep it here because we are at the edge of the county. It is, sometimes a burden to go in to St. Cloud. People want to meet people in person. They believe the council is a familiar face versus they're not as familiar to them. Those are the things that our residents, feel more comfortable coming to you and making their case rather than,
Calling them up.
yeah.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, I kind
I'm not against it or for it, those are just things.
That's benefits to that, there's benefits to both
It's
sides.
got pros and cons.
Yeah. I try to be as friendly as possible when I talk to people, so, I let them know, I'm just give me a call whenever you have questions or concerns, so.
Well, can you, just for the record here, go through the process of how this works? We get our tax notices and,
Very simple. You
Yep.
call me up with any questions or concerns, I'll kind of go through my review over the phone. If, I'll go over sales, whatever. If they still feel strongly about their value being wrong, I will come out for an inspection, go through all that, make sure all of our characteristics are correct. I'll go through sales. I put together grids to compare one house that, same exact houses, one has a garage, sold for 120. This one's valued at 100. Okay, well, this one's got a $20,000 garage. Looks like our value's fine. So I'll do that on, with a lot of characteristics. Come back with a value, and if they're okay with it, cool, we'll send out a revised notice, and that's the end of it. If they don't agree with it, then we'll send out information for county board, and they can go to the county board.
and under current if they don't agree with it now, they come here.
Yes.
Yes.
So we can change their value up to 10 days before this meeting. So when they first get their notice, it's the best that they call us right away if they don't want to, and we can work it out. We need to know that we have like 3 people change the values,
Yeah.
and that within the 10 days, then we
So
have to come here.
it's the same thing as local board. If they call within 10 days prior to this board meeting, it's the same thing as open book, where we have the power to change the value. If they don't like that, then they'll come here. If they don't like the decision, they'll go to county board. But this opens it up just to, they got 2 months or 2.5 months to appeal.
So just for the record, when does the tax notice come out that starts the clock?
It's been around mid-March, but St. Patty's Day almost. We try to send it out typically on Thursday so that it hits mailboxes Friday, and then they can look it over the weekend, and we expect call on Monday.
So then, from there, if they don't appreciate it, and if it's less than 10 days, then you refer them here, and they can come to this meeting, present everything, and if they don't like it, then the next step, like you said, is the county board. And when does that meet?
It's like
Mid-June.
June.
And what happens is when they sign up for county board, like John will go out there and another appraiser. So we look at the property again, unless when they did.
If I went out there previously, it would
Yeah.
be 2 other appraisers for the county board, just so that there's more eyes, because it is a value or an opinion of value, so more eyes on it, you might see something differently.
And then I know we're all a little hesitant to let the big bad government into our homes, but my understanding is that if we dispute it and we don't allow you into our house, that's the value that sticks. Is that still the rule?
Yes.
If we do not ask to go into the house during an appeal or whatever, then it's open to be changed, but if we were denied access when we asked, then we would recommend no change. The value shouldn't change.
Okay. Did I see your hand?
Well, I would just say, I kind of like that people can come here and talk to us, because we are somewhat responsible.
I do like this board too, so I do like coming here.
So I have a question. Over the years that I've been sitting at this table, in the past, homeowners have had to bring like some type of document or proof that their value is skewed for some, and maybe it's an appraisal, or maybe it's some of those real estate comps that they've collected from their neighbors or real estate agency. Are those still documents that are required for the homeowner to present you?
None of those are required, but it's nice because when we're at this meeting, for you guys to have, you get a little more information that way, and besides just me, giving my recommendation. It benefits them, for sure. But it should be up to date, especially in like today's market. They can't use an appraisal from last year because it is a different market. It just helps.
And if we decided to stay and not do the open book process, can we have this meeting in May?
No.
No, I think they have to be done by the end of April. Pretty sure. But here's what, there's this.
Basically, how late could you have, I could ask Jake and.
I was just curious, you know, one of the benefits, like you said, is giving residents more time to get everything together and get in here. So if we wanted to keep this first stop, but sort of also give that grace period, I don't want to run into problems. If your county board is mid-June,
Yeah.
you don't want us meeting the first week of June, presumably.
No, yeah, there is for sure a cutoff, I'm not sure what it is right now.
So these meetings must be held between April 1st and May 31st.
There you go.
Oh. you
Okay,
could do
so,
that.
I mean, you could go up to the end of May, I guess. That's up to you.
And the other thing that we're talking about next year is like, you know, the time frame of the meeting is 6 to 6:30. And we're gonna be open until 6:30. Next year, they're talking about putting, you know, the wording as in like the local boards meeting at 6 a.m. and we'll stay open until all appeals are heard. So if we sent on in 15 minutes, no one has showed up, we can close it. Or if you do like, that they have a half hour.
It's gotta go, if the value notice says 30-minute time window, or it's
Have
gotta
to,
be
yeah.
that, yeah.
That'd be nice.
And it is kind of funny, some of the calls that, some of the busier districts I'm in, they'll call and be like, a half hour? You're not gonna hear everyone in a half hour. And then they come and there's one person there. And it's like, so, they stay open until everyone is heard.
Well, we could be the city of Minneapolis or St. Paul, and we're not,
Thank God.
so there's at least that.
Just, has there been anything going on in the theater? I know that the remodeler stuff, because the people that bought it, they said they were gonna, wanted it open by this summer.
That is using all winter.
Yeah, she's been in there, I know she's cleaned it and stuff. You can just tell by walking past that it's been like wiped down and kept up, but didn't she put HVAC on last fall?
I don't think
Maybe
she's
she was
got-
up there patching the roof last fall. There were people on the roof last
Okay.
late summer, fall.
I don't believe any building permit has been pulled.
Yeah. I don't know if they were just up there inspecting or.
Yeah, you know, it's another flat roof, you know.
Maybe just getting a price, having a builder there to
Yeah,
get.
estimates or something.
Yeah. Well, the billboard's up by
Theater.
the old Tom Thumb.
Oh, yes, okay.
That's all up. They did it, finished today.
What are they advertising?
Gilk is on one side,
Oh, well, that's a little, I mean, that's a community
the
business.
other side. The other side is half of it's Hersberg Lawn Care.
That's no relation.
And I don't remember, it was another business.
Where is that?
So so we don't have many billboards in the city limits of Painesville, but it's a new one. So it's right at the intersection of Lake Avenue and Highway 55, right next to the former Tom Thumb, that's what it's always been called, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the Yelsey Construction Building now.
Okay.
It's in a little pie-shaped, unbuildable lot that the Magas family owned. So when they used to own it, the actual structure as like next to New Shop, then that they kept that. But the people that bought it after her did not want the unbuildable lot.
Okay.
Well, the dentist owns it now.
Yes, so then it's.
Yes.
I heard he's gonna start pretty soon.
He told me this spring.
Sure.
He had his builders, he was meeting with his builders a couple weeks ago.
Okay, that'll be nice. And then the daycare, is that open yet?
So the daycare at Chaco is not open yet. There was a small discrepancy in the fire code marshal suppression, but plans have been dropped off now. Our building official is out until Monday, so that will continue to proceed, but there is no expected opening date yet.
There were cars there yesterday.
If you haven't been by the hospital, that is progressing very well. There is going to be invitation-only type preview at the end of the month for some of the people. So that will be interesting. If you want to come,
April
you can
28th.
come with me. So I'm gonna go. Yeah, from 2 to 6. So yeah, you could come to City Hall and we could go over together.
On what day?
It's April 28th.
Friday.
2 to 6:30. So that's kind of exciting. And then the new nursing home across Highway 55, you know, that's a state, again, permit, so we're not really directly involved, but that is going to start this spring. Yeah, so that's going to be big. The former appliance store off of 55, that is under construction right now to be the new CPA building for Christensen and Associates.
Yep, you know, it's funny, because I was there one day, and I'm like, well, they haven't done anything. The next week, also, they're out there hammering away. I'm like,
Mhm.
good, that's good.
They're supposed to
Yeah.
move in May 1st.
Okay, so yeah, those were, the daycare and that site were ones that are really kind of busy right now because we don't want to hold them up. So those are kind of always on the back of our minds if they need an inspection or not. Let's see,
How's the dollar store holding up? Are they open all the time?
Yep.
Have you heard poor staffing? Okay.
It's better now. They went through a real rough patch last year.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they got a new manager in there or if they just found better staffing. But yeah, it's been far more reliable the last 6 to 12 months maybe.
They're not quite that long, but
Yeah.
6 months.
coming out of COVID was really tough for them.
Yeah.
That was really tough.
But they're keeping the regular hours. I hear Richmond's closed every time you turn around, but we're not. We're doing good.
Yeah,
And they're doing a little better job of putting away free.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Little better.
that's a
Keeping
lot.
the alleys at least you can walk through.
You don't see carts all over the whole bank store.
I did hear rumblings of more grocery going in there, so I don't know how that's gonna look, but that's just, you know, rumble.
Well, they did that in Belgrade, and they're doing it in Eden Valley because they don't have any grocery stores.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
So they were adding more grocery.
Yeah, I had to review the property, and you couldn't, there's so many cars, all the aisles. I just wanted to say, can I come back at 4:30? You just pay me such amount for 3 hours, and I will put stuff up. I thought this worked at shop. I can do this.
Everybody's all that way. Would you let us just come in and put stuff on the shelf?
Jane's son had the unfortunate obligation of going in there and telling them they had no choice but to move the carts out of the way.
Well, that's why I thought the fire marshals and
The
stuff.
fire chief.
Yeah.
And somebody contacted the fire marshal, which contacted him and said, you take care of this or I will.
Yeah.
When you have a fire marshal in town, it's never good.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
So, yeah, he had to do that. And they did. They closed for about 4 days and cleaned, got everything unpacked, and it's been good since. He
Good.
keeps an eye on it.
Yeah.
And Beth's been good about posting stuff on Facebook
She
to get
has,
old
yeah.
merchandise. Yep.
Yeah, it's going well now.
Good. And have you heard, like, if the daycare, anyone interested in the, because they're, half of it's gonna be the daycare, half of it's gonna be,
So the other half right now is still vacant.
Yeah.
I,
haven't heard anyone was interested.
no, I think it's fairly expensive for one thing.
Okay.
Yeah, threw out a price very high for a square foot.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
can't remember now, but it was high.
you know, there was rumblings at one time, it could have been a library, or it could have been a liquor store, or it could have been this, or it could have been that, but the rumblings are the rent is just so astronomical that it's not
Okay.
feasible.
And now, speaking of the library, is that moving over to the,
Well, no,
So-
that's the decisions haven't made.
Yeah, nothing's been formalized. There are a lot of talks that are in motion.
yeah,
So I loathe to talk about them and then fear of jinxing something, but that's still the goal.
okay, so it's still vacant, they're
Yeah.
still waiting for stuff.
Well, Cura is going to be, it's the name of their new nonprofit, but they have a few, like, offices in there now,
Okay.
is my understanding, just a handful of people that come over. I'm curious, though, if you can speculate maybe a little. if that building were demolished and then an office building put up in the vacant lot, a library put up where that one is, how would that affect the valuation of the old piano business and house right there on the corner?
We value it when they sell, like what the market is for selling. If you tore that down, and remove, it's not going to affect that property unless it sells for more than what we have on it. It's what the market is asking.
Okay. Did I see your hand up? Okay.
I don't think so.
That's what I never know. If I turn my head just so, I feel like I catch out of the corner of my eye.
That could be
You're so far down there, Neil.
that could be a ghost. It might be one.
It might be
We have a lot of chairs here.
the ghost of it.
We do.
I threw some of them down there. There's just too many of them.
That was one of the heck's going on tonight.
I don't know. I don't know.
Would be a free-for-all in here.
Must be all those people taking driver's tests.
Yeah.
I did have some inquiries about a possible new house on South Street in the Ambi Plat 5 edition.
Okay.
Had an inquiry, so that's kind of exciting.
Yeah, that's good.
So cross our fingers on that one.
One of our lots? or-
No.
No, but then as we were talking, he's like, well, what about the city lots? So, it might come, every once in a while you get somebody that's interested and then nobody comes in, but.
They find out how expensive it is to build anything right now.
I think it's better than
It is better,
here.
yeah.
Well, I don't think we're dying as a city, or at least maintaining.
Yeah, the chiropractor, she moved into that second building, so she's expanded, which is great.
That was cool. It was nice to see.
I sold my building.
Yes. For our sales study. Thank you.
We had a conversation about that.
If we're counting the warehouses, every building is occupied.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
should be paying property tax, so.
I need to contact the owner of one of those warehouses.
Won't do you any good. You could try.
I'm gonna try.
Is it, I know it's on the township, but Shady's, or is that doing?
Yeah, it appears to be, during hockey season, that was just a give and take for them. It was like, people would be at the rink and they would just go right there. Of course, there's always somebody that's disgruntled and it shows up on Facebook, but, I think since COVID, the restaurants have been able to recover to a certain extent. So it is nice to have another establishment in our community.
Well, they're the only ones open on Sunday.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, so, the Legion and Queen Bee's are not open on Sunday, and neither is Hilltop still open on Sundays?
Yeah. Just till 2 o'clock.
It's until like noon or 1,
Yeah.
so they were the only, restaurant that was open, unless you could go to Banana. So, yeah. So I think that they did that. Banana?
Banana.
The,
Meeker County.
You've never heard of it?
you need to go to Banana. That's
It's in the middle of nowhere.
It doesn't take you to town, everybody goes there.
Then if you go there, then
We're not allowed to go outside.
We gotta take a little field trip.
Yeah.
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 then you should go to Forest City too.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so it's just a really nice little, establishment.
That's Meeker County too.
Yeah.
Your herring and pickled eggs.
It's kind of like your, your Regal and your Lake Henry and your Green Owl. Everybody has a little stop.
Yes.
One Marshall.
Yeah. That's about it. I think Reno and Banana are about the same size.
It's right next to the church.
Well, different on weekends.
Of course it's next to the church.
Absolutely, right next to the church on the main drag.
All right, it being 6:30, we are adjourned.
All right, thank you.
I